Okay, we got the unboxing going on over here. We'll open this up. Directions. Yes, these are going to be important because we're going to need them. All right, so we got our directions. Where's my wife? There's some bubble wrap. We got some wires here with some push connectors, black, red, and white, 3-wire. We got the oil temp sensor and an O-ring. We also have the wire for the oil temp sensor and some zip ties. We have one happy-go-lucky gauge. Here's another happy-go-lucky gauge. I don't know if you guys can tell. I'm pretty excited to get this done. I actually get a chance to do an upgrade on my bike. You will see another upgrade I did on another bike. Actually, you'll see that video before this one. That's putting a cup holder on my Lowrider S. Yes, it's not that exciting. Yes, why did I put a cup holder on? My reasons. I like to put my vape there. It's easily to get. No stickers. Oh my God. All right, that's done. Get out of here. All right, now our big gauge cluster. Look at this. This is awesome. It's exciting. Oh my goodness. Look at this, guys. These are for the touring bike. Oh, it says stop on there. So let's see what this says. The mileage odometer on this instrument can be user programmed. See the enclosed installation manual for instructions. Now, what's important about that installation manual and everything, besides the instructions how to set your mileage, which is important, also it'll tell you there's an app you can download that has different themes. There are 31 different colors, combinations and colors you could put on your gauges, so the custom gauges will look even more custom. Man, I'm so excited about this. Oh man, this is awesome. This is a day I've been waiting for. I've been wanting to do these gauges in a long time. So, you know what? I'm not even going to pause this video and reposition it. I'm just going to take you with me, and we're going to go right over in here. Because what we're going to do is we got to remove our seats. The back seat, the front seat. Also, we'll have to disconnect the negative battery terminal. So I'm just going to get right into it. And today is a good day. I also have something else that's going on this bike, and it's going to be a surprise. That's right. I'm going to surprise you guys with something else that's going on this bike that I purchased from this channel's sponsor, Yankee Harley Davidson. Also, you know, I don't want to forget about our other sponsor, Cape Cod Harley Davidson. What that means is, hey guys, my channel is always open up for more sponsors. So if you're interested in becoming a sponsor, hey, send me a message, drop me an email. My email is in the description of this video and all my videos. So is my mailing address. So if anybody wants to send me some products that I could review and test out and get this out on a large platform, because YouTube is a large platform. You know, someone like KST Customs, Factory 47, who else would be good? Oh, Advan Black, you know. I have some Advan Black parts on this bike. I love them. I'm thinking about doing something with my Lowrider S to make it a little bit more custom a little bit, or something a little different. So I have a lot of ideas of what I want to do and the direction I want to go. So, you know, if anybody wants to do that, my email is right in the description, and so is my mailing address. So if you want to do that, I would greatly appreciate it. Alright, so I got my 10mm socket, 10mm socket on an extension, 1/4" drive with a ratchet. So we're going lefty-loosey, because lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. All right. So there you go. The battery is now disconnected. I won't trip any codes. And I'm going to show you a way, guys, that you can remove your drain plug on your bike with little impact. As far as what I mean by little bit of impact, by very little impact that you would make by losing very little oil. You won't lose a whole lot of oil. So I'm going to disconnect my vent tube. I got to snip that zip tie for the overfill tube. So let me get that done. We'll get our wrenches and sockets. If you didn't know, there's 4 bolts that hold on your tank, and there are 1 hose connection that's connected. It's a quick disconnect. Alright, I'll be right back. Alright, so I got my seat off, got my negative battery cable disconnected, as you know. I got all the 2 hoses and 1 electrical line removed. So when I remove the tank, I'm removing it with the dash. I just disconnected my fuel line. That's with the lift collar. Yeah, I know. I break all my stuff free with a ratchet. Then I come in here with the impact to remove the hardware. It saves time. It does. And, you know, I'll start everything by hand. And I'll run these in as, you know, tight as it can go. Then I'll put a wrench on them, make sure they're nice and snug. For these 4 bolts for your tank, it's a 1/2 inch socket. I use 3/8 drive, 1/2 inch. Now the tank is easy. All right, now that I got all this off, I'm going to take this and roll it up. That's the overflow vent. Slide this back just a little bit. Pick it up, get your hand underneath it. Oh, why did I have almost a full tank of gas? But I did. Oh. All right. Now we need a T25 for the gauge cluster. And a small screwdriver to disconnect the instrument cluster. So let's get together on that. There you go. Just like what I did on the handlebars, there are a few screws. I also have to remove the ignition lock, and I'll show you guys that again, how that's done. Now I removed the tank just for the fact of, I don't know if I'm going to run that wire for the oil temp sensor up under the frame and up into the bike, or can I run it up over the backbone and into the bike. I haven't decided yet. This is the first time I am installing these gauges, so I want to, leave myself options as far as the teardown goes. All right, so I'm going to twist my ignition to the lock position. I'm going to install my key. I'm going to grab a little screwdriver here. Going to look for that indent. Found it. Push down. Turn the key back past that lock position, and it comes right off. Really, guys, it's that easy. Again, do not stick a screwdriver in here and turn it around. I've seen it happen. It's a pain in the neck to get them lined up, because if you don't get them lined up, the accessory, and the lock, they will not work as they're advertised. They might work putting it in the lock position that comes on. I've seen it, guys. Don't do it. Don't play with it. Do yourself a favor. Do me a favor. Please. All right. Now I'll come around this side and do it. All right. So here we are. We're just going to pick up on our gauge cluster. Oh, I got to remove this. This is fighting me. Nope. There we go. All right. We have one wire here at the back of the gauges. Quick 2 ears. That's what the screwdriver's for. And that unplugs. You have an accessory switch plug here and another accessory switch plug on this side. This side's a little tougher because the release for that is facing the front panel. So you can't really get a finger in there. I try and get in there with a finger or my screwdriver. Really, Harley, you couldn't have that turn around? Let me get a little stiffer screwdriver. This is a custom screwdriver I made. It's got a 45-degree bend in it. And let's see if we can get this thing to release. Yes. Did it? Yes, it did. Okay, this is off. Now, we're going to take this to the bench. Again, my excitement's getting the best of me. And I'm going to connect this or change out the cluster. So, let's do this together. I have some setup to do, and we'll do it. So please, excuse me, stand by. All right, what I got here is a T25. There are 3 screws. One here in the center, one on the left, and then one on the right. So I'm going to pop these right out. Save them because we're going to reuse them. And this pops right out. Look at that. The chrome rings come out with it. I'm going to leave them on because I'm trying to de-chrome this bike. This has protective film on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to peel it away from the gauges at this point. Oh, that is so pretty. Look at that. A nice matte black when it's off. And it'll be all sorts of pretty colors when it's on. So, I love this little hand drill. It comes in handy. I'm going to set the clutch on this to 4. Let's flip it over and look at it together. Guys, what do you think? Huh? Huh? I like it. So when the bike's off, it's all black. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. That's beautiful. Yes. I can't wait to continue on with this project. All right, and we will. Stand by. Okay, we're back at the fairing. Now we're going to start disassembling the inner fairing. I already popped off my speaker grills. Just so you know, these have two snaps here and a tongue that's over here. So what you want to do is, when you pop them off, get yourself like a plastic putty knife, something that's non-metallic, that is less chance of you scratching your bike or your paint. So it pops up both sides from the inside up and out. And I have tweeters. These are JM Audio. I have the tweeters on the grill, so I had to unplug those. So we got two screws down here, a screw here, same thing on the other side, and then you have the 4 screws in the front. So let's get at it. Try not to lose your screws or your parts. I try and keep everything together when I put it on the bench. And the reason why we're doing this, if you're curious, it's real simple. I got to get to the inside of the fairing to get to these 2 gauges, or the 2 gauges on either side of the fairing that you can't see. So do yourself a favor, when you get parts that are wrapped in foam or bubble wrap, it's a great idea to save it, because that stuff you can use over and over again to protect your paint when you're doing projects like this or anything. So that's where I am. I have to clean my inner fairing and my whole bike. It is filthy, and I will definitely make sure that gets done probably tomorrow. I plan on taking this bike to work, so we're going to make things happen. All right, let's move this around to the front, and we'll get more of the fairing being removed. We only have 4 screws left. Okay, got the 4 screws here on the fairing. The ones that I have, they are a 10 millimeter. They're a spike. And some people might have Phillips screws here. That's what comes from the factory. And depending on what configuration you have, like me, I like the aftermarket spike screws. Now the 2 on the outer part of the fairing don't have to be removed. Neither do the 2 at the inner part of the fairing. They don't have to be removed, but you want to get them loose. Because what's going to happen is you're going to slide this up like that and pick it out. And that's your windshield. It is out. It is done. Fini. C'est la vie. We'll put it down over here just to keep it safe. So now, you know, I do have to take these off. Yeah, I do. I do have to take these out to get this piece off. This piece does have to come off. It has the vent. I don't know why these are so tight, but they are. But that's all right. That's what the wrench is for. All right, there's 3 out of 4. All right, we'll put these down in a safe spot. I keep all my fairing screws together. And I try and keep all the tools together this way. This here you just want to lift up and it pops out. Why aren't we popping? Before it breaks, I'm going to get in there with a flashlight to see what the problem is. There we go. It popped. You got to make sure that this piece here comes out with the interfering. Here you go. A little better look. Sorry guys. This bottom piece of where the vent is, got to make sure that comes out. It's only got 2 clips here. Once you remove the screws, the 4 screws. And we're almost done, believe it or not, with removing this outer fairing. Now, if you saw my other video on the 13 Road Glide, that's same as this bike. What I just disconnected here are the turn signals. And what I do have left to do are the turn signals. And these are I think 3/16, but they got little covers on them, which I got to take off, because that's the kind of guy I am. I hate seeing ugly bolts. I really do. Yes, they are 3/16. Let me grab that socket. Let me get the other cover off. It's off. Woohoo! We're getting there, guys. Exciting. It's exciting stuff. For me it is, anyways. Whether you believe it or not, I certainly do. That's 1 screw. That's 2 screws. Put those there with the other fairing bolts. And you see that? It just slides right off. It's not hard taking these off. It really isn't. Now, the problem I have now is looking at it, is the gauges are here. And getting into them, it's certainly not going to be easy. Let's grab the flashlight. Let's see what kind of screws we got. I think they're a T25. I'm going to find out. No, they're not a T25. I think they're a T20 then. Yes, they are. And they're pretty much loose, just about. It's just getting up inside of here and getting them out. That's the problem that I'm having. I do have a lot of wires in here, guys. I do have an aftermarket amp in here. That's underneath the radio head unit. So most of this wiring is factory that you see. There are a few in here that are for the speakers that are addition to. So, you know, it's interesting. There's 3. Looks like only 3 screws hold these on. So we're going to work on getting them off. It helps having a nice long handle. It's not long enough. Alright, that's 1. I do want to get that screw. So let me grab a magnet because I don't want to lose it. All right, it's not fully removed. Still probably a thread or thread and a half in there. There it is. I found it. Gotta get the tool on it. There it goes. Hey guys, if you have any questions and you want to ask me, you know, leave me a comment. I do get back to my comments real quickly. One of the things I pride myself in is getting back to people. All right, I dropped the screw. I've got to find it now. Might have to remove this headlight to get to it, and if I do, it's no big deal. Let me get the other two out, remove the gauge, and let's see what we can do here. That's what I didn't want to do, but unfortunately it happened. But I'll always find the screw, because I don't like losing anything or misplacing anything. It's not the way I like to roll. Alright guys, here's a tip. Do the outsides first, and then do the inside top last. It's easier to get out and access to. Alright, there's the gauge. That's actually the fuel gauge if you're wondering what it is. So, now what I got to do is unplug this, which might not be all that easy getting it out of here. Let's try spinning it, getting the wire up to the top. Yeah, let's grab that skinny little screwdriver. That seems to do it, guys. Spin it so you can get to the finger latch of the wire. And you should be able to get it out. And you got to rotate it around inside, and there's your fuel gauge. All right. There it is. Now I got to find that screw, which means I got to remove this headlight. And I'm not looking forward to that. It's not that hard. I'm going to be honest with you. It's not that hard. Okay, if you're wondering why I'm quiet, I'm actually disassembled the carrier from this, and that's easy. So I got that gauge removed, ready to install the new one. And it's kind of self-explanatory on how it goes together. You know what, guys? I'm going to put you on pause because I'm going to want to paint these chrome bezels because I don't want to see any chrome rings around inside of my interfering. So stand by. Okay, everybody, at this point we're going to change out the drain plug to put in the engine oil temp sensor. Now, there's a way you could do it where you don't lose a whole lot of oil, excuse me, hiccups. I'm going to show you that now. And one of the secrets is do not, and I repeat, do not remove the oil fill cap. Now, just so you know, in this kit comes the sensor, and they supply you with a new O-ring, and I've already installed that. And this is a 3/4 inch wrench. Your drain plug is a 5/8 socket, and I say socket because the plug, the electrical connection on the back of this engine oil sensor sits outside of what a socket would handle. So we're just going to remove it. We will lose some oil, but that's okay. We're not going to lose a lot. We're going to lose maybe half a pint at most. So I can live with that. So I removed the drain plug, and now I'm installing the sensor by hand. So here is the drain plug. It's got a magnet on the end of it. This new one does not have a magnet. It's all brass, and it's designed to absorb the heat of the oil to give an accurate reading to your bike. That's all the oil we lost. It's not that much. I don't even think it's half a pint, to be honest with you. And after we get this tightened up, again with a 3/4 inch wrench, we're going to run the wire. Now the wire has to go up to the back of the tach and speedometer cluster that is right behind the radio, right behind the handlebars. So it'll be a lot easier to do it that way. And I think it's going to be easier to use a ratcheting wrench to tighten this up. And it is. Okay, that's tight. Now they give you the ends of the wire pre-terminated, which means there's no cutting, there's no splicing, there's no soldering involved, which is awesome. So this is the plug that will go into the sensor. And this is the plug that goes into the back of the gauge cluster. And they give you some zip ties. I love zip ties. And that's so we can zip tie it to the frame. They say bring it along the right side of the bike the clutch hose up and then into the back of your gauge cluster. That sounds like a really good idea, but I think I'm going to try running it along the left side of the bike, on the inside of the frame, then bring it up that neck, and then into the back of that cluster area. So let's see how we make out. Alright gang, I got the wires run, and I finished with the drain plug with the engine oil temp sensor. Here's the wire for the engine oil temp sensor. As you can see, there's plenty of it. God, I could bring it all the way back past the battery from the handlebars. So that's plenty long enough. Here's the wires that go to the two small gauges in the fairing, which would be your volts on your right, and now on the left would be your engine oil temp. Now, what I don't like about this kit, and I'm going to be very vocal about this, because I spent a lot of money on this kit, and the wires that go from your two small auxiliary gauges to the main gauge cluster, which is your speedo and tach, are just free wires with no chafing, which would be, rubbing of the wires and causing a short. To prevent that from happening, there's nothing there to prevent that from happening other than the insulation on the wire itself. Well, I took it upon myself and I put heat shrink, and I made it one wiring harness coming up into where the gauge cluster is, and I heat shrink the wires. Now, okay, I'm kind of being picky, blah, 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 but here's my thing. I paid, this kit is not cheap. It's $1,100 for this kit, and I paid the $1,100 for this kit. For that kind of money, the wires here should have some sort of sheath on them to protect them from rubbing and vibration. And that's all I'm going to rant about that. That is my biggest complaint with this kit so far. Now, also, reading through the instructions, which most men never do, you have to download and install on your phone, Android or the Apple phones, or a tablet that has Bluetooth capability, the Dakota digital motorcycle. And you have to make note of your mileage before you start something like this, because you have to program the mileage into your new gauges. Now, be honest, don't be creepy, because if you sit there and say, okay, like I have 15,188 miles on my bike, and I could be shady and say, oh, it's 5,188. Well, guess what? All that information is stored in your ECU and your BCM, and if you try and trade the bike in, you do some shady stuff like that, you're going to get caught. And falsifying a mileage on a motor vehicle, that comes with some serious consequences. And that's it on that rant. So, I'm waiting on the paint to dry on the chrome trim bezels, because I'm trying to eliminate all the chrome on this bike as possible. So, there you have it. I'm trying to eliminate the chrome, and I did. Also, I eliminated the wires that come off of the back of the stock gauges, and there's a disconnect right up by the radio. Since I am not using those anymore, I am using the wires that's supplied in the kit. So once those are dry, we'll get back to it and we'll put the bike back together. Okay, Okay, the bezels for the gauges for your tach and your speedometer, they're dry enough for me to install it. So that's what it looks like installed. And in the back here, you have your oil temp over here. And then this one is for your voltage. Now, here is the wire that will plug in the back of your gauges for your speedometer, your tach, your power, everything. But before we do connect that, look at all this extra wire I have. This here is for the oil temp sensor. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wrap this all up and then zip tie it all together so it's nice and neat and clean. You know, there's nothing wrong with making everything neat and clean. I'm even going to zip tie the other wires all together and get this going. So, you know, I like neat wiring. If anybody ever goes into this, besides me, which I highly doubt, at least they'll say, hey, this guy's wiring is neat. You know, I always sit there on the premise, I try and do everything where someone says, hey, who did that? And I can look at them with a smile and say, I did that. So, it's kind of tough now because this used to go straight into the back of those gauges. And now it doesn't. It goes in on the side, and it's hard to get it all together because there's not much room on that. All right, so let's get this back down here. Look at, oh wait, we forgot the switch blank connections. Giving me a hard time. All right, so we got that all together nice and neat. Look at that, huh? I'll put those screws back in. I'm going to put the ignition back in. So let's do that together while we're here. So that's the T25 and the 2 gauge screws I have right here. Again, it's always important to stay organized because, you know, your intention might be, hey, I'm going to get this finished in one night, and you never know what could happen, what emergencies pop up. So, you know, try and keep yourself organized. Trust me when I tell you, it will go so much easier, so much smoother, and so much faster. Because you're not hunting for, where did I put that screw? It took me a little while to learn that. And, you know, I've been working on vehicles and everything else for a long time, between cars and helicopters and everything else. I can put my ignition back together. Alrighty, that's all done. Look at that. To me, wow, that looks amazing. That really does. I like that look so much better. Let's take a look, guys. We'll compare the two. Okay, I got the stock OEM gauges, right? This is Dakota Digital. That's stock. Dakota Digital, stock. Dakota Digital. I like the Dakota Digital. I am so happy I did this. Other than my own one and only complaint, but that's okay. I'll get over myself. Oh man, I hope you guys are enjoying watching this. I know I'm enjoying doing it. It's a lot of fun. You know, I gotta still wait for the 2 small pods to get connected. And so while we're waiting on that, I'm gonna put the fuel tank back on the bike because I don't need it off anymore. I did what I had to do. And yeah, I didn't run the wire up the backbone like I wanted to, but it made it easier for me to run that wire up the down leg because I do have these lower leg fairings with speaker pods. So it made it easier for me to do it. And we're only talking 4 screws and 1 hose connection. That's a quick disconnect. So it's not that bad. Right. Fuel tank. I connect the vent tube. I'm going to drop this down where it belongs. Here we go. No, didn't even go in the right place. Shame on me. There we go, we got in the right location now. And it's always good to make sure that that vent tube gets located behind the frame. Alright, so I gotta get the 4 screws, or bolts I should say. 1, 2, 3, 4. And as always, I'm going to use my gun, my little impact driver. First I start them by hand. This way I know I didn't cross-thread them. I know they're going to be easy to go in. And the next time I take this fuel tank off, I'll be able to remove it without having to try and re-tap and remove broken bolts. And trust me, I've seen that in the past, and it does happen. All right. Got the good old 1/2" socket on the 3/8 drive extension. We're going to come up inside, zip that one in. We're going to zip this one. And now the 2 at the back of the tank. And again, just for my own peace of mind and sanity, I'm going to put a ratchet on them just to make sure they're tight. Got 1/8 of a turn out of that one. Quarter turn out of that one. Just over a quarter turn on that one. Just over a quarter turn on that one. So you can see that it's important to make sure you tighten everything up properly. Part of my organizational skill is when I'm done with the tool, I'll put it away. It's done. All right, guys, let me get back to reassemble or move this camera around. We get going in the front with this 2 small gauges, the wire connections, putting the headlight back on, putting the outer fairing back on, putting the speaker grills back on, reconnect the negative battery, and then we'll turn it on, we'll start the app, and we'll see how things go. Okay, I loosely have the first gauge installed. I got the wire plugged in. I came in through the front side with it. There are 3 screws that hold this thing together. So make sure you get the right rotation, because if you don't, you're going to have, your gauges not read properly, and nobody wants that. Not at all. I know I don't. And I just dropped the screw. Now I got to find it. Alright guys, let me pause this so I can find the screw I just dropped. Alright, I found it, so that's a good thing. Now, let's get back to reinstalling this gauge. And I want to make sure I get that right rotation, because there's only 3 screws that hold this in. And we want to make sure that, the gauges are going to be properly aligned. So let's do that. And I came up with a different way of doing this, with a ratcheting screwdriver, a bit extension, and a T20 bit. And I'm starting to think this is going to work out much better than the way I was doing it with just the T20 handle. So, hey, right on. It is a pain to get these in and out without disassembling the whole inside of my fairing. So that's 2 out of 3 screws. Trying to get it. It's a little sloppy because it's, extension after extension. I think it's working out well. There we go, it's on. And that's nice and tight. Go to this other one. And that's nice and tight. Take this out. Now I got one more to do. Inside of here. So what I want to do is try and capture this screw a little bit with my flashlight. Look where it is and try and get it in the hole so I can start threading it in. It doesn't seem to be working out. So let me do like I did when I removed it. As I put my hand inside. Too many things going on here. Way too much going on. All right. Move these wires out of my way. Okay, I think I got it. Yep. And that is one gauge done. I'm happy about that. Let me reposition the camera and we'll do the other gauge. And then we're going to put the headlight on and the front fairing. Alright, I found my flashlight and it was on the lift. Oops. I always talk about, you know, stay organized, stay organized, stay organized. And here I am, not staying organized. So, get my flashlight to shine where I want it to shine. Get your Shoonshine box, kid. Who remembers that movie? I do. That was hilarious, that movie. If you don't know, I'm referring to the movie Goodfellas. Filmed right in Brooklyn, New York. Over there by Arthur Avenue. Wow, look at that. Everything's just falling. It's getting annoying. But that's okay. I'll get it. My motto is the mechanic always wins. Always. I got it. Yes, I do. Good and tight. Good and tight. Good and tight. Alrighty. So that's that. Now let's do the headlight. I will reposition this camera and we'll get the headlight done. Alright, got my headlight, my arms here with the screws. I'm going to plug in the front. Yeah, what are these wires? Well, actually, they connect and screw into the, well, actually, just push connections right up into the headlight bezel. So now nothing here is lining up. And why is that? Okay. There we go. It's the wires for my amp and everything. I gotta move everything around. Hold on. Alright. Looks like we got it going on now. There it is. Popped into place. I always start with the bottom screws. Get them started. Something's array here. Something's amiss. Yep. There it is. I see what the problem is. I can fix that. That's an easy fix. Grab a screwdriver. I'm going to move some wires out of the way. There you have it. So I'll put that down. Alright, I got 3 in started, so I'm going to snug them up. I'm not going to zip them down yet, I'm just going to snug them up. It's always helpful to have the long Allen for this, because it's easy to get in here, and if you have the short Allens, it will be impossible. All right. Hey, screw fell out. I gotta find it. Give me a minute. I'll find the screw. We'll get right back to it. Alright, I found the screw and I put it in. Now I'm going back over again with the ratchet, because I ran it in with the gun, and the last thing I want is for my headlight to come loose while I'm riding. Especially with some of the road trips I got planned this year. We're going down to we're going up to Laconia first. Alright, so that's going to be a good trip, I feel. Alright, and then in September, we're actually going to try and make the trip out to I didn't get that in right, to Ocean City, Maryland, for their bike week, which isn't actually a week. It starts on a Thursday and ends on a Monday. So I'm going to try and get there on a Friday night. There we go. And leave there on a Sunday morning. I mapped it out today. It's only 200 and excuse me, 266 miles. No, 315 miles. Sorry, I misquoted that. 266 to Laconia for me, and 316 miles for me to go to Ocean City. Which won't be a bad ride, but it's not all highway, which is good. But you know, some of the route took me down US 13 that you can pick up off of the Delaware Memorial Bridge. There's that one, which is a nice bridge to go on if you've ever been on it. Then I'm sorry, I'm thinking too much here. And then you go right into Ocean City, which is not a bad way to go. All right, the outer fairing time. Dun, 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 dun. I know, I'm stupid. But I'm happy, and I'm excited, and, you know, that's it for me. I'm happy and excited. Alright, so it just slides on, just like that. We're going to get our bolts. And just snug them on. Because we have the turn signals we got to bolt up as well. But I want to get a couple bolts in this. Actually, I like getting all the bolts and screws started before I tighten anything. Before anything goes wrong. Alright. Like now. Let's see what's going on here. There we go. That's mo better. That is mo better. Alright. Now the wind deflector's got to go on. Again, all I am doing is just starting them. So, some people don't like these wind deflectors. I like them. I think they're awesome to have. I think they're a good thing to have. Giving me a hard time. Don't do that. We're almost done. I want to see these gauges turn on and do everything I want it to do. Be beautiful. There we go. There we go. There we go. I'll tighten up the left side like I just did. Now let's do the right side. We'll get that all tightened up and ready to go. I know there's some silence. I gotta get some music in these videos and pay the royalties. But before I start paying for anything, I gotta start making money. I put out a lot of money in camera equipment, just, you know, altogether, just this week alone, and I mean just this week alone. I spent over $1,300 on my new camera setup, and I'm excited about that. I hope you guys are too, because it's going to be awesome. I know it is. And I'm so looking forward to it. And I'm going to try and use that camera system in here too. because it's a 360 camera. So if I could mount it above the bikes I'm working on, I'm hoping that it will grasp a lot more stuff at different angles, and I can add different effects to it and everything. So I'm kind of hoping it will work out the way I'm hoping. Okay, that's that. All right, I'm going to put an actual driver on these because I just want to make sure they're tight. And I see I got a little bit of a turn out of that. Never rush. Never say, well, I know I hit it with the gun, it's good. No, never say that. Always, always, always double check your bolts and your screws, because especially if you use something like I do, like the impact drill or the impact driver, you know, the batteries always go weak, and you never know if they're going to be 100% for you. All right, now we'll get the top piece. Alrighty. So this top piece, here, let's move this camera up. This top piece, there's a lip here. This lip goes under here. And then these two clips press right into here. All right, so here we go. Let's make it happen. It's going to give me a hard time now. Nope, you got it. There you go. While this is off, while the windshield's off, I'm going to clean it, because it's a perfect opportunity. And guys, I'm going to tell you what I use. For this on the product tour, it's the Ansonia Miracle Wash. That's right. I'm talking about the Ansonia Miracle Wash. I am an Ansonia dealer. I believe in their products. They have never proved me wrong any time. They've always worked. They always worked as advertised. Whether it's the fuel stabilizer, whether it's the octane booster, or whether it's the Miracle Wash, oils, everything. It's always been good to me, you know. And you know, all this hair is dirty, so I'm just going to clean it. And I'm going to clean my dirty fingerprints off the inner and outer fairing on this too before I take it for a ride tomorrow. All right, look at that. Isn't that a huge difference? Now it's got a glare. It's a wordless wash and wax and protectant all in one. All right, everybody. I know everybody's been wanting to hear with my big surprises. Yes, I have a huge surprise I was talking about. I know some people won't care for what I'm going to break out and show everybody, but I don't care. It's my bike, and I like to ride it. And you know, going on these long road trips now that I'm going to be motovlogging on and doing everything else, I decided that this would be better than the stock windshield. One, it's got a little bit of style, and two, I think it's going to work great. Alright guys, you ready? It's got the blue protective film on it, so I'm just going to pull it up where I'm going to be working so I don't get the screws underneath. Alright, who's ready? besides me. Hey, I know I am. All right, I'm not going to show it yet. All right, I got myself a nice new Clockworks windshield. Yes, it's tall. It is tall. It is 12 inches. So that's, to me, a good thing. A lot of people don't care for them this tall, but that's okay. It's not their motorcycle. It's my motorcycle. And it's what I wanted. And I figured this was if I was going to do this, this would be the time to do it, because I had to take it off, the windshield off anyways, to do these gauges. And that's exactly what I did, is I waited till I had these gauges. I wonder if I get a deep socket on that. Let's try that. I think that's a good idea. Yes, that'll work. That will work. I'll grab my impact gun. I'm going to set it on the lowest clutch. Actually, yeah, just in case. Actually, this has no clutch. So I'm going to make sure. A little bit of corrosion there, you know. Oh, this one's not all the way down yet. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right. What do you guys think? Huh? I tell you, I like it. Some people might not like it. They say it's too tall. They say it looks funny. And you know what? I don't care. It's my bike. I think it's a great addition. Again, it's 12 inch. It's made by Clockworks. I am not sponsored by Clockworks. They didn't send this to me to test it and do a review. No. I did it. I went out and bought it, and I purchased it, and you know, that's it. The bolts for the turn signals. All right, we're getting to the end of this. Yes, we are. And I'm going to turn this camera around, and we're going to go ahead and power this on. And, you know, well, first I'm going to put the speaker grills on. Then we're going to turn around, power this on, and we're going to look at it as it sits. I think it's amazing. Already, I'm impressed. I'm very, very impressed. All right. Okay, I got the bike back together, and the gauges are installed. Now, I'm going to give you the review on the installation. You already know my feelings about the wiring. You know, I took care of it, but for the price of this kit, that should already be done, in my opinion. All right, so we're going to turn the bike on, and there you go. That's what we got for our gauges. Now, I don't know if you could see it or not. So let me get this closer. So bear with me. Alrighty. Alright, so we have our oil temp. We got our voltage. We got our RPM, high RPM, and mileage trip. Up top we got our fuel indicator. There we have our time. Mileage on the bike. I had to go in and set that through the setup. It was too convoluted, so I didn't want to go through and get it all done for the first time. Alright, so here we have trip B. Here we have our next service interval. I set it to 5,000 miles. Trip hours, it tells me how many hours I was on that trip. High miles per hour. It will record my highest miles per hour. My 0 to 60 seconds. My quarter mile time and speed. My distance to empty. It gives me the air temp. My head temperatures. And back to the gear. So if I wanted to get in here and change something like high RPM, I will hold the click change. It says move line, hold to clear, and then release. And I would do that for all of them if I wanted to. And I'm really happy I got this kit. I don't know about you, but you know, I got the time on the radio. I don't need it down there. So let's go to the, what do I want? High miles per hour. We'll do that. So that's that. And guys, you know, I really like it. I'm going to turn them off. You can see what they look like off. The key light goes on, you know, security, and it goes off. And here's our gauges. They are a flat black while they're off. And I think it's pretty cool. And what do you guys think? Alright, so let me readjust this camera here. Yep, readjusting. Alright guys, and that's, you know, that project's done. So, hey everybody, let me know what you think of this video. Leave me a comment down below. I think it's awesome. You know, I finally got my Dakota digital gauges. I've been looking at them for a long time. It took me a little while to save the money for them, but I got them. And I believe it's well worth the money. We'll see how things go as far as how long they last. What are they like in the rain? Things like that. We'll see. So before you ask, I'm holding on to my stock gauges for now. And we'll see where it goes with that. Hey, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, a like, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And also, everybody, live the best life you can, ride often, and ride hard. Until the next one.